2, 3, 4.
Buddha di Mignata, and good morning, my brothers and sisters. This is our 8th episode of the Good Morning Guys podcast. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine morning, afternoon, evening, or night as we continue discussing the game of life amidst the other games that we love to watch and play oh so much. I am one of your hosts, the man who can butcher any word or phrase in English, Spanish, Portuguese, and Russian, especially Russian, Lucas Ham Swisher. Also with me, the inspiration and founder of Junker Treat Night at White Oak Christian Church, Patrick Novosel.
What was that language you said in the beginning?
If you need
Buddha
context,
Domanyata?
Feel free to listen to episode 7 if you need context for that name. Next, the man with the new lease on life, because he's not interested at all in one on a Jeep, at least for now. Ronnie Johantis.
Hello.
And then last but certainly not least, our North Kakalaki mountaineer and music man himself, Marc Boucher.
Hola, and happy National Candy Corn Day. And don't judge me.
If this is your first time joining us, welcome. If it's not, then welcome back, friend. I have a good feeling about today's episode. I got a feeling in my bones. How about you, Pat?
I like it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Dynamite drop it.
Does he want anything else?
I don't know. I for some reason just felt like you were going to say more than
You
3
didn't
words.
answer my question before. I was still waiting for that language you were speaking earlier.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't want to give spoilers, but since we're getting right into it, I was speaking good old-fashioned Romanian because I recognized earlier this week that we actually have new listeners from the Republic of Moldova, and there they speak Romanian.
Ooh.
They do not speak Moldovan, as I would have guessed when I first read the name of their country. So,
Nice.
But that brings us to a little bit of housekeeping, as we've been doing the past few weeks. Before we get neck deep in the news, want to cover a little bit of housekeeping. And as I mentioned, this is an international podcast. We're representing the U.S. and Brazil every week, and along with many, many other countries. But this week we had new listeners from the Republic of Moldova, and that's why I greeted them with almost fluent rendition of Good Morning for them in Romanian. Along with that, we also need to mention Extra Life. Mark, Pat, and myself over this next week are going to be streaming some games. Am I right?
Yes, we are.
You are correct, sir.
That's right. And the first one up this week is Patrick Novosel himself. Tell us a little bit about it, buddy.
Yeah, so I'll be streaming for Extra Life on November 3rd through the 4th, 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. for 24 straight hours. I'll be playing Red Dead Redemption 2, Call of Duty Blackout, and Spider-Man for PS4. Yeah, I'll be doing that for 24 hours. And Mark, you'll be doing that for how long on Saturday?
I'll be doing that from 2 to 4 p.m. on Saturday as part of MTTG's sort of collective Extra Life stream. And I'll be streaming some Black Ops 4 as well. And in addition to that, I will be streaming Mega Man 11, which came out a couple weeks ago. And you're going to watch me suck hard at it because I am not good at Mega Man games. But then again, very few people are anyway. But
True that. Those
Right.
Mega Man games are rough. I have tried a few of them, and every time I do, I'm like, this is like the Dark Souls of side-scrolling, robot, futuristic, retro games. I don't know if that's correct to say all those words together, but I went with it. But yeah, those games are tough, for sure.
What about you, Lucas? What
So
are you streaming?
I'm also joining Mark in the community stream coming up this weekend. I'm actually going to be recording the wee early hours of Sunday morning between 5 to 6 Eastern Standard Time in the morning. So if you wake up early or stay up super late, you can join me while I take a crack at Laser League. I don't know if you guys have ever played Laser League, but
yeah, it's free on PS4, right?
yeah,
It was?
PS Plus, it was free this month, or is free this month. So I'm giving it a whirl. I actually this week tried out the tutorial just so I didn't go in totally blind, because I didn't want to look like a complete idiot, because I'm going to be doing the multiplayer. I'm pretty sure I'm going to look like a complete idiot anyways, but at least I'm going to have my bearings and last
Nice.
more than 5 seconds.
Yeah, I tested that out with Kaboski and Jared Orr when we were down at MTTG 300, and we played that, and we were on easy mode, and we didn't get anywhere.
Oh, really?
We lost every single match. We had no idea what we were doing. So yeah, when you say that you're going to fumble through it, yeah, you probably will. Unless you're really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will also be streaming on that Saturday night on November 3rd from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. And I'll probably be doing something like Overwatch or something that a lot of people can come in and play as well.
Yeah,
so
buddy.
I'll be doing that. And I'll also put all of our links to our team page, to all of our individual pages, and our Twitch URLs, our Twitch names, in our show notes. If you click on the show notes for each podcast, you'll see both our timestamps and also how to reach us on Twitter, Facebook, and all that stuff, and Extra Life.
Nice.
So yeah.
This episode will come out probably right before you start your stream.
Yeah, so I'm trying to post this before Thursday, so I'll probably post it tomorrow, which is Wednesday.
Nice. All right, sounds good. Well, we hope to see some of you folks during the Extra Life stream. This weekend is going to be awesome, not because a bunch of people are going to be playing video games, but because a bunch of people are going to be raising money for them kids, and that's what it's all for the kids. And
Support.
That's right. So if you get a chance, if you like to help out kids and give to good causes, please find some people to sponsor, some people to donate to, and help these kids out. And I think that's what it's all about. And it's an awesome cause, an awesome event.
Yeah, no, super shout out to Chad Fackler, the super best friend listener out on Twitter. I had tweeted out when I'm going to be streaming and what games I'm going to be streaming, and he retweeted it and tweeted out to a bunch of different people and podcasts, and I got the most retweets and likes that I've ever gotten on any single tweet that I've done before. So shout out to him for getting the word out.
Thank you, Chad.
Thanks, super listener Chad. You're the best. The other little bit of housekeeping I wanted to cover is just to remind people that we really want you to join Discord. Again, this is a free podcast and Discord is a free app, but with it, we have a great opportunity to make true connections and share as many dad jokes as humanly possible. And it's amazing. I think we can all agree that the dad jokes are awesome, except for Ronnie, who is still a no-show in the Discord.
Oh, maybe you haven't checked recently.
Are you there? Yes. I am. Nice. I'm so glad to be wrong. So very glad to be wrong. But, the Discord is really great because it gives an opportunity for not just for us to make connections and talk about dad jokes, but every week when we ask questions or we give opportunities for people to share stories and opinions, that's like the main connection to the podcast. So we really want to get people connected day to day and also on the podcast every week. Of course, you always have Twitter and Facebook, but the real fun is happening on Discord. So please join us. We'll shoot out another link this week. But come hang out with us. With that being said, I think we should just jump right into what's news, what's going on in our lives, gather around the water cooler, the watering hole, whatever we want to gather around to talk and hang out and find out the latest in our lives in sports, video games, etc., etc. So, Patrick, why don't you start us out, buddy?
First part of my update is I am off of work the entire week.
Yeah, you are, you lazy bum.
Yes, it is absolutely awesome. Waking up, not having really to do much. Obviously, I got kids. I got to get them ready, get them going for school. But today, I told my wife that it's her day. She can take off of mom duty. And I got the kids ready for school, got their lunches packed, got them off to school, drove Clark to school, picked him up from school, did Claire's homework, did dinner, did everything that she usually does, because since I'm home, I did it all today. So she was just in the basement watching TV, watching Netflix, watching her Hallmark shows, went out to Target and Kohl's and wherever else she went. So she was not responsible for anything.
Look at you, Mr. Mom.
Racking up the dad points.
Nice. Yeah, you are. So you could take them away here in the next couple days.
But it also on the heels, I'm doing this Extra Life film, so I'm going to be playing games for 24 hours. So then she's going to have to do it all. So it's kind of like give and take kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I had the today for dad duties, and then on Thursday she's going to have mom duties back.
Cool.
So yeah, off all week. We did trunk or treat at my church.
Wait, are you
over the weekend.
saying that right? Is that what it's called? Trunk or treat?
I made some adjustments this year.
Oh, some upgrades.
So it was Superman, and everyone was paying attention to my suit and not a particular part of the suit.
Because you were wearing hammer pants.
Yes, hammer pants. You cannot see it though.
I'm Hammerman. Super Hammerman. do.
Hammer, I am Hammer.
Is that part of the song? I am Hammer.
You've never heard that version?
That's another song.
North Kakalaki edition.
So I did that, and then
Y'all need to
What?
get
What's
cultured on MC Hammer. Seriously.
was that part of our inspirational listening? this
Yeah,
week?
save
MC
it
Hammer?
for the music part.
Did that. Did some pumpkin carving. Nothing really else going on. Played some games. Played some Jackbox on Friday.
Now, real quick, sorry.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to find out, because my wife just asked me about this, because we're not big pumpkin carvers. Did you guys go freestyle, or do you use stencils when you do the pumpkin carving? I'm curious.
In previous years, yes, we would use stencils because it just looks so much nicer. But this year we went freehand,
All right.
just using a marker and our carving tools.
How did that end up? Did you miss the stencils, or were you like, oh, that's not too bad? Maybe pleasantly surprised.
My wife, she got on to Google Images and she Googled just what the stuff that we wanted, and she just used that as like a guide. But yeah, the stencils in the past have been really good because we were able to do so much more, and it looks way nicer than freehand because there's so many different templates out there for whatever you want. You can actually use But this year, I mean, I was off of work, and usually I print out the stencils at work and I bring them home. And since I was off this week, we forgot to print them out, so we just did freehand this year.
That's cool. Good to mix it up.
Yeah, and then on the gaming front, I've been playing this little game called Red Dead Redemption 2, and apparently, this is the biggest weekend for a video game of all time.
Are you serious?
I think they said it was like $725 million in revenue over 3 days, which is the biggest entertainment of all time. So like video games, movie, TV, everything.
That's bigger than GTA 5? I thought they made $1 billion in.
They did, but it was released on a Tuesday. So there's a little caveat there. So in 3 days for Grand Theft Auto was $1 billion, but that was during the week. This is the biggest 3-day weekend for anything.
Wow, Rockstar.
Since Red Dead, yeah.
They are something. They are definitely quality over quantity.
Yeah, that's that Red Dead Redemption 2, man. That game is huge. There's always something to do, and I played maybe about 10 hours of it so far, and I haven't come across a situation yet where it was the same thing. I didn't see the same thing. I mean, there's one time where I was going to a mission. I don't think if you've played Grand Theft Auto, you have a mission where you're like, okay, I need to get to this spot and I can start a mission. And you always get sidetracked. You're like, oh, there's something over here. Oh, there's something over here. And you never get to the mission. Yeah. And it's the same thing with Red Dead Redemption. There was one point where I come across this guy who comes running out of the woods. He says he needs help. And he just falls down. And he said he has a snake bite. And one of the options was to help him or to decline. I chose to help him. And then after I chose to help him, I had two options. I could either suck out the venom or I could give him a cure for it. So, I mean, I was like, well, this is a game. I'm going to suck out the venom.
Oh, my gosh. Of course.
I'm going to do it the hard way.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's see what happens. Let's make this interesting.
I was like, I might die. I don't know, but I'm going to do it anyways. But I sucked out the venom, and then it helped him. He was cured, and then I went on my merry way. So It was actually, I mean, things like that happen in that game, which is unbelievable. Because there's a way to fast travel in the game, and I've unlocked this fast traveling ability, but I don't know if I'm going to use it because half of the fun is going from like town to town
Right.
and everything in between, from bears to bucks to like cougars and all the legendary animals and things that are happening. You'll miss all that stuff if you do fast travel. So I don't think I'm going to be doing that.
Yeah. Huh. That makes sense. I
But
mean,
yeah.
that's what Spider-Man did to a lot of people. A lot of people haven't used fast travel in that too. So that's
It's
cool
so
that
much
they're
fun to swing.
that they're making games so good, because I can't tell you how many times I've been like, man, finally I can use fast travel. Like, I don't know if you guys played Mafia 3, but I wanted a fast travel so badly in Mafia 3. I could
Mafia
not,
3.
It took forever, because you would lose, like if you died during some missions, it would send you back to where you originally started the mission. It could be on the other side of town.
Right.
And,
That's obnoxious.
man, it was totally obnoxious. So, but that's cool when they give you the option, but they make it so good that you don't even want to use the fast travel.
Yeah. So that's my week.
All right. How about you,
What
Mark?
about you, Mark?
Oh, look at that. Oh,
So how about me, guys?
I'm reading your mind, Patrick.
Well, Friday was, of course, family night. Went to the old Mexican restaurant. But it was special because my wife recently found out that she got a new job. So she,
Nice.
yeah. So
Congrats, Kristen.
I shall tell her that you have congratulated her.
Now just tell her to listen to the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, don't tell her. Say there's a surprise for you.
She's not gonna listen to the podcast.
All right, just tell her that.
Okay. But yeah, so she found out she got this new job she applied for. She's super excited. She was waiting for quite a long time from the HR department to finally process things. It just seemed like it took forever, but she finally found out that she got the job, and she found out when her start date is. So that was kind
Nice.
of our family celebration for that.
What kind of job is it, if you don't mind me asking?
Okay, so if you don't know, we are kind of heavily affiliated with Liberty University here in Lynchburg, Virginia, and my wife works for Liberty, and they have what's called the IRB, or the Internal Review Board. So basically, anytime somebody submits a thesis or a dissertation at the university, and they have to conduct research involving, actual people, there are certain parameters that they have to go through in obtaining that research. And so she's basically on the department that basically checks all that and makes sure that they have obtained that research in the proper manner, so that they
So
can...
she's a fact checker.
Yeah, basically. She gets rid of that fake news.
So she can either say fake news or real news.
She probably has a stamp in her office that it's either fake news, hashtag fake news, or just a check mark. Like, okay,
Yes.
fine. It's
That'd be awesome. She has a stamp, just like, boom,
fake news.
Yep, she is the sifter of the fake news.
And she holds their academic souls in her hands, and she can crush them at any moment.
I wouldn't go that
a
far,
lot of
but
power.
yeah, close to it.
All right. Just trying it out, see if it sounded right.
I'm sure she'll be happy with that description. But yeah, so she's super excited, and I'm really happy for her, very proud of her. And then Saturday, we took our youth group to an event here around called Scaremare. And Scaremare is kind of like this thing that Liberty puts on. It's like a haunted house kind of thing, and like thousands and thousands of people come from all over to come and come to this event. And basically it's a way of Liberty students. It's all run by Liberty students. It's a way of evangelizing to people, a way of spreading the gospel, because they bring you through this haunted house, and it's basically two different buildings connected by a wooded area. And man, my youth group was so scared. They were trying their hardest to not be scared. Like, they were trying to diffuse all the fear by like Like, oh yeah, this isn't a big deal, and oh, you guys are Liberty students, you're doing a great job, and all this kind of stuff, trying to just shrug off the fear as much as possible. But yeah, they were genuinely freaked out. Especially there's this this wooded area where there are people with chainsaws, and they they chase the people coming through. Now, granted, the chainsaws don't have the blades on them, so obviously they're careful about that. But it's still funny to watch them freak out about it. And
Well, yeah, I remember doing scary houses. That the sound alone, even when you know it's fake, even when I was growing up, and you hear that sound of a chainsaw in the middle of the night, in the dark, in the woods, whatever, and it's like, ring, ding, 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 ding. Oh,
yeah,
gosh, scares the bejesus out of you.
Yeah, and that guy actually came out like they have this big long like roped off line for you to get into the house. They had people all dressed up in makeup and stuff in the line trying to freak people out before they even got in the house. So yeah, they make a big deal out of it. And then at the very end, they have like several rooms that they bring you in, and they tell you about the theme of Scaremare for the year, and then they start sharing the gospel. So
Nice. Cool.
yeah, it was a fun experience, and they were all super jazzed about it, and they loved it. So that was a great experience. To me, I went last year, and it was almost the exact same thing. So I don't know how much they change it up at all, but they didn't so much from last year to this year. But I'm glad they enjoyed it. And then Sunday was just normal church stuff, and then my wife went. She had a girls' night with my mother-in-law and sister-in-law, so I was basically doing the whole bachelor thing for a night, hanging out with my dog. Yeah.
Your dog, huh? Your dog.
Yeah, my dog, who is an actual dog.
A lap dog.
Yes, a tiny lap dog. But yeah, I mean, honestly, that was the biggest stuff that happened to me. On the gaming front, I'm sadly lacking on the gaming front this weekend. I did not get to play anything. Even when I was alone, I didn't play anything. But that's gonna change this week. So
Sounds like a plan.
because we got a certain thing going on tomorrow night.
Oh, yes, that's right.
That's right. I almost forgot.
Lucas, what's going on there?
Tomorrow night, we are having our first community meetup, which, if you're listening, it's too late. Most likely. I don't know. Maybe you did say you were going to get this out on Wednesday. So tomorrow night, Wednesday. So if you're getting this on Wednesday, tonight, for Halloween, we're going to be celebrating by having our first community gaming night. We're going to be playing Friday the 13th on PS4. It was free on PS Plus this month. And probably around 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be jumping on there, and just whether we're Jason or camp counselors or I don't even know what else is in it. Teeny bopper teenage kids running away for their lives. I've never played
Have you booted that
I've never
up
played
yet?
the game. I've only seen the movies.
Okay.
So
I've never played it either. I've seen gameplay.
no idea
of it,
what I'm
but
getting into.
I played one match over the weekend, and I put it on easy, and I was Jason, and oh my gosh, Jason is super slow. I have no idea what I was doing. I felt like I
really?
should be better at it. I ended up killing all the counselors. Obviously, it was on easy mode.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Come on.
But there's a lot of controls in there. I mean, Jason, you can like warp speed. So I guess going from like one edge of the map to the other edge of the map, if you have a power up,
Okay.
you can also slow down time, so you can get to them faster. There's other different power ups you can do with Jason. That's the only one that I played. I didn't play one where I was one of the counselors, but I'm assuming I don't know what the like object of the game is. I'm assuming is to get away from Jason.
Yeah, imagine if it's Jason is to kill everyone, and if it's everyone else is to survive, or to be the last one to survive or escape.
I don't know if that's like a time limit, or if you need to escape. I'm not sure what.
Yeah, I have no idea what
the
we're
thing is
getting
there.
into. We just kind of randomly shell door 4,000, 40,000. I always forget which one's which, but shell door, who is a part of this community and also a part of the Married to the Games community, which really our community night tomorrow is going to be a crossover between Married to the Games and whatever we're called. Good Morning Guys podcast. I totally blanked. Wow.
That podcast.
Whatever we're called. It's going to be it should be a fun event. So come join us. PS4, Friday the 13th. Come kill some fools or get killed, whatever you prefer. Halloween night.
Yeah, what's great about this
fun.
game is I think you can have up to 9. I think there's 8 counselors and Jason, so this is a great game to have a whole bunch of people at the same time.
Nice.
And you're streaming it, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna stream it.
Yeah, buddy.
So it should be a good time.
Nice.
Mark, was there any? Yeah, I was gonna say, is there any video game news you wanted to share with us?
There is one piece of video game news. So Sony finally released the full list for their PlayStation Classic, all the games that are going to be on it. They unveiled the games there, and here is the complete list. I'm going to read the whole thing off.
Drum
Nah,
roll.
you don't need to read the whole list. Just we're not gonna get it.
I wanted
It's
to
like
drum roll
3,000
that
of them.
time. Come
No,
on.
I could Micro Machines guide it real quick. Battle
Okay,
Rangers Super Go
yes.
Borders 2 blah, blah. No, it's fine.
Go ahead.
But Battle Arena Toshinden, Cool Borders 2, Destruction Derby, Final Fantasy 7, Grand Theft Auto, Intelligent Cube, Jumping Flash, Metal Gear Solid, you're welcome, Chris McCracken, Mr. Driller, Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, Rayman, Resident Evil Director's Cut, Revelations Persona, Ridge Racer Type 4, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, what the heck is that? Siphon Filter,
It's a classic. Come on.
Tekken 3. Why Tekken 3? Tom
Tekken 3's
Clancy's,
awesome. Don't diss Tekken 3.
but why not the first one? But anyway, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, Twisted Metal, and Wild Arms. So there are a couple of things that are missing from this list, I think, and
Just a
I kind of understand why. Particularly the Crash Bandicoot games and
Well, I mean, they just came out with it.
and
The Crash Bandicoot games, I can understand because they just came out with a remaster of
Now-
all 3 games. So
And bringing up Crash Bandicoot, I will say Crash Team Racing should have been on this PS1
it should
Classic.
have. It really
I
should
mean,
have.
That is a great
Yeah.
racer, and it's something that, as a good 2-player game, like you look at this list, I guess I didn't really pay attention. Are there really good 2-player games on this list?
There's Twisted Metal.
I guess there is
Yeah, you
Twisted
got
Metal.
Destruction
That's
Derby.
Metal
amazing.
Tekken 3.
Tekken 3, yeah, okay, fighter game's good.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
I guess
I've
there
never
are
played
some
Cool
good
Borders
2-player,
2.
but- Oh, Cool Borders 2 is good. It is, and it's also 2-player. I had that back in the day.
Yeah, but there's also like SSX, Tricky, and all that stuff that's newer and it looks better. I mean, I don't know.
Well, yeah, but we got newer and better, looking better than most of these. I mean, I'm like surprised they picked Twisted Metal 1 over Twisted Metal 2. Twisted Metal 2 was like just the better version.
it
of
really
Twisted
was.
Metal.
Yeah.
It had better graphics, it had better maps, it had
Way
even
better
more
maps.
to pick from. You know, you got the big black guy with the big tires in between him. I always forget his name, Axel.
Axel, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, just overall, you had the same characters from Twisted Metal 1, but then you had even additional characters, so I'm really surprised they didn't use Twisted Metal 2. And then, for me, some of the games that I kind of looked at and I was like, I didn't even know these were on PS1, was like Intelligent Cube.
Mhm.
I had never heard of that. Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. Is that is that Super Street Fighter Puzzle Turbo?
Game sounds really
That's
hard.
what it sounds like.
I think that's
it?
like one of those like blocks or kind of like Candy Crush, but it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen those before, but that's the Street Fighter version of it, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I want to say it is.
I want to say it is, but to me, like, you have that, but you don't. There were a variety of Street Fighters on PS1, right? Like Super Street Fighter Mega Buster Turbo Mega Super Edition.
Yeah, it's just not what the PS1 is known for, really.
Yeah, I guess not. And then
but-
the last. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, there's no Spyro, which I get that because they're remastering that too.
Yeah, for sure. It makes sense why they don't have that.
And then for sure, one big one that I think is missing from this list: where is a Tomb Raider game?
Yeah, they should have had
Yeah, that's a
Tomb
good
Raider
one.
1 or Tomb Raider 2.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been a good one. And you know what? Because they could have put Tomb Raider in and taken Mr. Driller out. What in the world is Mr. Driller? I've never
No
even
idea.
heard of that game. Like, I was very surprised how many games I saw that I was like, I've never even heard of those games. It was kind of weird. I just felt like the PS1 had more classics. But again, as I've read online and heard people talk about their licensing issues, and like there's the Tony Hawk games, which were really huge on PS1, but there's no
Right?
way they could get those back.
Oh man, that would have been
Just
great.
with all the licensing and the music, and they would have to like strip that thing down. It would probably not be as fun.
Oh yeah,
with modified music or something to it. So
I'm glad
makes
Siphon
sense.
Filter is on there though. I enjoyed the Siphon Filter
yeah,
games.
but you know what? Someone brought up online. I saw a number of people mention, what's Siphon Filter going to be like without analog sticks? Like, you don't have the analog sticks to help you aim, so you're only going to have
It's gonna be weird.
just the normal controls. It's going to be strange.
Yeah, I think that was said for Metal Gear Solid too.
Yeah, that is. It's gonna be a little bit weird. Now, I will tell you guys that I did a little bit of online polling between Discord and Twitter. It was very scientific, and I made sure that it was there was no meddling involved. That it was by the books and by the letter of the law. But 36 people were polled between Discord and Twitter. 23 people, or 64%, are less excited now about the PS1 Classic because of the full list of games. 3 people, or 8%, are more excited because of this information. 2 people, or
Bots.
6%. Yeah, bots. 2 people, or 6%. Yeah, those excited ones are definitely bots. Or just like, oh, I feel bad. I'm going to just say I'm more excited now. I love that Mr. Driller game. 2 people are unchanged, 6%, and then 8 people, or 22%, they never really had any excitement to begin with for the PS1 Classic. What do you guys think of those numbers there?
I was one of those 8%, or what was it? How many percent was it that wasn't really indifferent about it? How
Yeah,
many
that
percent?
never really had any excitement.
Yeah,
It was 22%.
That was me. That was part
That
of
was-
me. Yeah.
You were one of those. Almost
Yeah.
a quarter of the people never had excitement to begin with. That kind of makes me
Yeah.
sad.
I have much less excitement about this now.
Yeah,
I see
I do
this.
too. So, I mean, it is what it is, and maybe some people will get it, and they'll be like, "Man, that Mr. Driller, that is an awesome game.
No,
That's
no,
the best,
no.
best
No one will
drilling
be like
game
that.
I've played in my life."
Glad they put that on there.
Hold on,
Yeah.
Lucas. Wasn't there another poll that you put up this week?
That poll's not closed yet, so
Oh, it's
the
not.
results have not been released. I made that a week long.
Live update then.
A
I wanted
week
to
long.
Make sure, yeah,
Oh,
I wanted
man.
to make sure that I got good numbers on that. So,
Okay.
no spoilers to the other poll that we will be revealing next week that may or may not be related to socks and sandals. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, I want to get the hard facts, people. So I have a week-long poll going. So I'm gonna plug it. If there are any supporters out there for socks being worn with sandals, I need you guys to rise up, you guys and gals. I know you're out there, and
Or
I know
don't.
you're scared. Wait, let me say my piece. I know you're scared as you're listening to the podcast. You're wearing your socks and sandals. Don't be afraid. Don't let them bully you. You need to come out of the silence, and you need to share, and we need to stand together for socks and sandals. So please come out. Find the poll on Twitter. I've pinned it to the top of my newsfeed, and you can vote for the bold and the beautiful, or just that you prefer to wear socks and sandals in the comfort of your home. Either way, it's a win. So please come and support socks and sandals. Thank you.
Or don't. Now you know how I feel.
I do, and it hurts real bad. I'm so sorry.
But that's it for me.
All right, how about you, Ronnie?
All right, so I had actually a very boring week until like
10 minutes.
3 hours before this podcast.
10 minutes ago.
So yesterday I got a Amazon delivery, which was a new Shark vacuum cleaner.
Woo!
And it's one of those ones, it's like a Roomba style, so it just drives around by itself. So earlier today I followed this thing around for like 45 minutes.
You stalker.
Like recording videos,
You
like
a
sending them to my
stalker?
mom. Yeah, pretty much. I just want to see how it worked. And it's pretty awesome. It literally goes like over top of everything. I have like this fancy like vent covers that like pop out. This thing just off-roads right over top of them.
Nice.
It only got hung up one time in like some wires. Like it went underneath of my TV stand all the way back into like the nest of wires back there.
Yeah, that's like the nether realm back there.
And apparently when it gets jammed up, it tries, like struggles for a little while because I wanted to see if it could get out. And eventually it just shuts down and like plays this little like tune, like this little like series of beeps or whatever. I was like, oh my God, this thing is a droid.
Nah, bump that.
So anyways, this thing, when it's charged, it just basically vacuums your house until it's almost dead. And then it docks itself and charges.
What the heck?
Welcome to the
And then it
future.
plays like a little happy tune when it docks itself.
We're in the future.
It's unbelievable.
Craziness.
But that's pretty much all I got.
Whoa.
That's all I got this
whoa.
week.
I don't believe you. I don't
think so?
think that's all you have. I think you
man, I
owe
have
us a
so
review
much.
of a certain movie about a man who is super.
I do owe you a review. That's a good way to put it. I still owe it. As a matter of fact.
Golly.
He cannot pay it today.
2 weeks in
Just
a row.
absolutely slammed
I
this
think-
week. Didn't even have a
I
second.
make a
Wow.
motion that we come up with a punishment for Ronnie if he does not watch Superman by next week.
He's like,
Hold on a second.
You know what?
Do I
Hold
have
on a
a
second.
gonna
You
Do
had
I have a second?
I second that. You had 45 minutes to watch
Ah,
your
you know
dang,
what?
your dang shark. But you
You dang
couldn't take
shark.
You could take the time to watch Superman.
Hey, if you had gotten this, piece of electronics here, you would have been doing the same thing. Even if you had like a deadline you had to meet,
Okay,
Could've
well now
watched
that
it
you
while
have
watching
something vacuuming your floors for you, you have no excuse this week. Do
That's
you guys have?
That's
any,
right. No excuses this week.
No excuses. Do we have any suggested punishments?
He's
for
gonna come
Ronnie
back
if he
next
doesn't
week
watch?
like, I have no excuse.
I think he should shave his head to the skin, bick it.
Ugh.
Yeah, there's no way that's ever happened.
And I'm gonna have
The-
Patrick
the
enforce it
shaved
'cause
of a
he's
head
your
thing.
neighbor.
Patrick's gonna come over here and try to shave my head. It's gonna be a disaster. We're both gonna end up all shaved. Like I'll be ready for him with a razor on the other side. I'll be like, come on in, man.
It's like one of
Razor
those.
fight.
One of those movies where they come back with they come behind someone with a razor and just like zzz, right at the back of their head.
Oh yes, I've seen that. I can't remember. That was real, right?
Yeah.
There's also a phone app that makes that sound when you like touch your phone up against somebody's head. I think that's like a prank.
Oh
No.
jeez,
Wow.
that's hilarious.
So, other than my new vacuum, I do have a couple of minor updates. A lot in sports happened this weekend, so just to go over a few of the things I thought were the most interesting. The first one is, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the NFL today, but there have just been like trades all over the place, and it's kind of exciting, especially, like from the fantasy football standpoint. Like you got Golden Tate going to the Eagles, Demaryius Thomas being traded from the Broncos to the Texans, Ty Montgomery being traded from the Packers to the Ravens. I actually have a trade currently pending for Ty Montgomery, and now it's way more valuable. Perfect
Interesting.
timing.
Nice.
And once you both accept, you can't stop it from happening. So they can't. There's nothing they can do.
Well, sweet.
So pretty pumped about that because my fantasy football team sucks, and hopefully that will maybe help them be not as bad.
Yeah, what's the current record of the
Andrew Luck's book club.
Andrew Luck Book Club? I always forget. his
Actually-
first name.
Lucas, it is 4-4.
Oh,
So
all right.
I've basically just been really lucky. My team barely scores any points, so I'll take it. And I think maybe they could just catch fire at any point, straight to a championship,
Yeah.
straight to my name being carved on that gold belt.
Is there a gold belt?
Yeah, there really is.
Okay, cool.
The whole wrestling title belt.
Wrestling title ship.
Yeah, I believe that's what it's called, right?
I got my wrestling title ship in the mail.
Yeah, they wear the little thing around with the leather and the material. Yeah, whatever.
Material.
It's one of those WWE belts.
Whatever the material is on the outside. And then lastly, Boston winning the World Series.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys got to watch.
Whoa, really?
Any
I
of
had
Boston?
no idea. I totally missed that.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, so
Red
they beat the
Sox
Dodgers 4-1. They beat them in 5 games. Beat them pretty good. There was one game that the Dodgers won. It went into 18 innings or something ridiculous.
Jeez.
It was like an all-nighter. So I will say congratulations to all the Boston fans out there. You jerks. And then we did have one listener question, and I say that about Boston because you don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like being a sports fan of a team that never wins. It's awful.
Hold on a second. Before the early 2000s, they had not won a World Series for 100 and something years. So
I feel like in that 100-year period, I wouldn't have said that. But now, nothing but success ever since then.
All right.
And that actually brings me to we actually had a sports question posted by Justin Seibert.
Bring it. Hey,
Justin is a guy I went to school with, one of my
Hi,
buddies.
Justin.
And he says, should there be a salary cap in baseball? With big market teams able to spend most of an unlimited amount of money, the competitive advantage can hardly be matched through traditional and new convention of players analysis in today's game. So my general thought in baseball is I like the idea of a capped sport because, a team like Boston or a team like the Yankees, or the Dodgers even, they have a very clear advantage. They have owners willing to spend, just millions and millions of dollars, and they can throw millions at people and they can miss, and it doesn't really matter. But I would say I would prefer it to be a cap sport.
I would agree with you, Ronnie.
If you want to change the Major League Baseball's, to a cap sport, that would have to be done maybe. If you do it now, it wouldn't be effective until maybe 10 years down the road. Because some of these players, they're signed for 10 years. So you have to look at the longest streak or the longest contract that is out there, and it can't be done until after that. Because some teams have already planned for them to be with them for so many years. Because, what was it? Joey Votto, he got 10 years, $200 million or something like that. So someone like that, they have planned for someone like that to be with them for a long time. So if you're going to change the way teams are spending money, it's got to be something that's going to be done in the future, and it can't be just changed over an off season kind of thing. But I agree. There needs to be some sort of cap, some sort of competition. I know right now in the major leagues that in baseball there is some sort of revenue sharing and additional luxury tax that the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Dodgers have to pay other lower market teams with all the money that they're getting. So they give more money to lower market teams. But that doesn't change the fact that some of the teams that are out there, the lower market teams they're only budgeted with something like $80 million, whereas the Yankees and Red Sox have budgeted over $200 million kind of thing each year. I get it, but I would like it for it to change to get more competitive advantage for other lower market teams.
Now you guys can enlighten me. I haven't paid attention to these aspects of sports for quite a while, so it's pretty typical in most sports to have a salary cap. Is that correct?
Yeah. So in the NBA and in the NFL, they have salary caps. Yeah. So I think in the NBA they can technically go over their salary cap a certain amount, but they get hit with a luxury tax of some kind.
I do remember seeing that there's a luxury tax. I think that would be the next step for major leagues, is not so much maybe a hard, fast salary cap, or what Patrick suggested, you kind of have to look at the contracts down the road, but kind of just they really need to take steps to do something to kind of hold back the teams that just have the money flowing, because it's just not. I don't know. In the markets where they have teams where they don't have the money flow as much, they still should have ways to compete. I guess more closely with the other teams. You know, when teams like New York and Boston and, like you said, the Dodgers in LA, I mean, they have so much money. I mean, the sky's the limit for them, so they can attract anybody. And it just doesn't make it really fun when the same teams are always winning. I mean, case in point, the NBA. I feel like the NBA is going down this path right now where, man, the Golden State Warriors they are stacked. Like, they have all-stars sitting on the bench. Like, it's just crazy. And so you don't want to have that in Major League either. So
Yeah, the interesting part about that is it is pretty much a capped league, and those guys all
true, yeah,
basically are taking less to play
problem.
with each other.
Yeah.
Some I don't think they could even fix if they wanted to. I mean, like I guess I think it depends on what's more important. Is it to win or to make money? So that's kind of Golden State's whole thing. Like, I am a LeBron James fan, so Golden
Me
State
too.
has really roughed him up pretty recently. So
Yeah, I was glad that LeBron was able to squeak out that one win against them back when he was still
Yeah.
with the Cavs.
yeah, it came down from like 3-1 or something like that.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was epic.
But that's all I have on sports.
All
So
right.
how about you?
All right, so, well, Patrick is being a big lazy bum this week and not working, and I, on the other hand, am working. I am substitute teaching this week, folks. Going to school every day, teaching. Actually, I'm not teaching. I'm substitute teaching, so I'm a glorified babysitter. Let's be honest. So, so far, I've substitute taught. Is that correct? I've been a substitute
Yes.
teacher
Taught.
the past 2 days. Taughten. I have been a substitute
Wow.
taughten teacher. No, that doesn't sound right. I've been in the last 2 days, and I have to tell you guys, I've enjoyed it, kind of. But at the same time, I'm glad I don't do it full time. Let's see, let me just share with you my second class. I used a marker on the smartboard in the classroom.
Oh no!
And of course, in every class, I mispronounced a bunch of names. And then another one of the classes, I got lost because the class was moved, but nobody told me. And then I was quite late. And then for another class, I was quite late because I had to drop a deuce. And when nature calls, you got to do what you got to do. What you got to do. And then in my last class, I was in the library, and I got shushed by the librarian when I was talking with my students. And that was just on Monday. So then today, in one of my classes, I accidentally gave the students their actual test for tomorrow instead of their practice test.
Oh.
And of course, not only was I the one that broke the news that they had a test tomorrow because they didn't know, I also freaked them out because I handed them this like encyclopedia test that was like 100 questions, and they were all freaking out. And like once we all realized I'd given them the test, they were like, or I was like, I'm gonna need to take this back now. And man, it's obvious that I'm a little rusty in the teaching department. It has been fun, but at the same time, I don't miss the classroom per se, because kids are still kids, teenagers are still teenagers. They prefer to look at their phones and fool around, and I don't like babysitting anymore. But it's been fun. It's been nice to get to know the teachers and the students that my wife has, and that kind of stuff. So
Cool.
I've been doing that this week. Another thing that I started this week with my kids, and actually my wife too, it's a whole family event. We started the unofficial Pokemon Indigo League Challenge. We got to watch them all, folks. We're going to start watching all the Pokemon cartoons on Netflix, YouTube.
What?
Yeah.
How many are there?
Oh, they're like 13 seasons.
How many episodes in a season? Like 3,000?
Hundreds of episodes. No, I don't know. I'm pretty sure the first.
Are you going to be able to keep hosting?
I don't know. We're going to find out. No, they're like 20-minute long episodes. We don't watch any more than 2 a day. But the kids wanted to start watching it again, and my wife had watched a few, and she actually thought the little Pokemon like Charmander and all that, she thought they were really cute. So she's like, I'll watch I watch Pokemon with you guys. And so we were just like, well, let's just start at the beginning. So we started watching this week, going through the Pokemons.
Dude, you guys are a little late because Twitch has been actually streaming like every episode of Pokemon from start to like the current season. So
Yeah, I'd actually seen that when they first started that. I think that was around the time that I first started doing twitching and streaming. We keep calling twitching every week? We say the same thing. I keep
no,
twitching.
you keep calling it twitching.
No, Patrick did it too. Don't even try to throw me under the bus, buddy.
Oh, did he?
OG.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll throw you both under the bus.
Yeah, you can throw us both. But yeah, so when I started streaming, I did notice that. But at the same time, they're streaming it, but I can't record it. And I'm not going to be like,
right.
Stop everything. We've got to watch this right now on Twitch. And so we're starting that this week. On the gaming front, I finished Excite Bike. I think I said that last week. And yeah, because I finished the day of our recording. And I started Ice Climber. Now, last week I called it Ice Climbers. That was incorrect. It's not actually called Ice Climbers, even though you can be Popo and Nana or whatever their names are. You can
Hey, you got it right.
Did I really? I was joking. I didn't think I got that right.
You got it.
Even though you can be 2 ice climbers, the game is actually called Ice Climber. So it's game number 2 for me in the Classic Nintendo Challenge. There were 32 levels. It was somewhat of a challenging platformer with very questionable controls and physics. But the controls and physics aren't the most interesting part of the game. The most interesting part of the game is the premise. To me, it's absolutely hilarious because you're an Eskimo and you're hunting what I thought was a large pterodactyl. But I actually found out later it was a condor that at the beginning of every level flies up to the top of some mountain/castle. And you have to climb this mountain/castle to reach this condor, or what I thought was a pterodactyl, that's hoarding an abundance of vegetables, eggplants, heads of lettuce, and carrots. Is that not the weirdest thing you've ever heard in your life?
What?
Yeah, I'd probably let him have those.
It's probably one of the most Nintendo things I've ever heard.
It's so Nintendo. So every level, you all you have to use is your trusty mallet as your only weapon, which is, of course, every climber's favorite tool, a mallet.
A mallet? Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's a mallet. It's not even a
all you get to
pickaxe
fight
or
the
anything.
pterodactyl?
Makes sense. Yeah.
And you climb this mountain/castle. The platforms are destructible. There's falling icicles, moving but climbable clouds. And also, as Marc shared last week, there is a polar bear that shows up from time to time, dressed in a Speedo. And he usually shows up when you take too long in the episode, and then he'll knock the level down so that you automatically die if you don't go higher. You climb up 8 levels for every stage. And then you have a time portion, which is called bonus. And during the time portion, that's your time to collect the vegetables and then reach the flying pterodactyl. And once you reach the flying pterodactyl, you have to jump at the correct timing to grab its legs, and then you finish the level. You don't really know what happens. It was really funny when I was playing and my kids were watching me. Once I would catch the pterodactyl, my kids were like, well, what happened now? And I'm like, I'm eating the pterodactyl. So just to mess with them. Sometimes I went real dark real fast, and I was like, yeah, I'm eating the pterodactyl. And they laughed, of course, because they're used to me being silly and saying silly things.
You went way less Nintendo.
Yes, I went way less Nintendo with it. But, you get 3 lives. The thing that I was most thankful for was that you got stage select from the beginning. So if you lost all your lives and you went back to the start screen, you could select which stage you were on and then just continue it from there. Like I said, the platforming physics were awful. But once I figured it out, it really wasn't that bad. It was a pretty quaint little game. It was cute. I played a little with my kids, but it was really too hard for them, so I did most of it alone. Did all 32 levels this week. It was supposed to be finished in 4 hours, but I beat it in 2.5 hours.
Oh,
whoa!
Speedrunner.
So I was cooking with peanut oil, and I took it down. So from there, I've moved on to Super Mario Bros. Mario Brothers.
There you go.
And I've actually beaten that game using the warp pipes, but I'm going to be playing through each and every level for the first time ever. So
Warpless.
I'm going to be doing it warpless. I'm going to be doing it straight up, playing every level. and we'll see what happens. I know there's going to be some levels I've never seen before, so it's going to be fun. Right now, I'm right around middle of stage 3, and I must confess, as with the games before, Excite Bike and Ice Climber, I'm going to be doing a little minor safe scumming because I'm a dad. I got a job. I work from home. I ain't got time to be playing it old school and going through all the insanity. So I need to save some of my sanity. I'm going to be safe scumming from time to time. Is that cool with you guys?
That's fine. How many levels are there? You said you're on level 3 or world 3 or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I'm world. Yeah, I don't know if they call them area 3, world 3. I think I'm on like 3-3. I think I'm on the stage right before the castle. Every 4 parts of each stage has a castle where you, of course, fight Bowser, quote unquote, and you pretty much have to either jump over him or go under him and hit the axe and make him fall through the bridge. So I'm thinking I'm at 3-3.
I want to say there's 8 worlds.
Yeah, I think there are 8 worlds. And they're really just palette swaps. Like sometimes it's dark, sometimes it's light, sometimes there's, it's not that varied, but it's still a classic. So I'm going to be playing through every level. And I'll let you guys know how it goes on Twitter. And update you guys next week. All right. But speaking of my confession, because I'll be doing a little bit of save scumming, that leads us to the topic of our show, confession. So as with most topics, I wanted to start our confession discussion with our childhood. Does that sound good to you guys? I mean, there's nothing like the first confession we ever had to make as kids. So, who wants to start by sharing their first confession as a child?
I'll do it.
You're a brave soul, Charlie.
I'll go first.
Marky Brown.
Okay. So I had debated telling this story, and I enlightened you guys a bit off air, but I'm going to tell it anyway.
Yeah, you are. We'll act surprised.
Okay. Okay, so I was 5 years old, and I was just messing around, and I was going through all our old VHS tapes, although they weren't really that old back then. But in any case, I was going through a bunch of VHS tapes, including the ones you could like record over, like blank tapes and stuff like that. And having to pull out this one video, and I put it in the VHS player, in the VCR, and it was a video of an inappropriate nature, especially for a 5-year-old, involving certain acts.
Not to be specific.
Yeah, I think y'all can fill in the blanks there.
Acts that mommies and daddies would do.
Yes,
to make brothers and sisters.
Involving
so
some
mommy
birds
and daddy
and bees.
just having this VHS tape just laying around, like, oh yeah, I'm 5 years old. He doesn't know what this is.
And well, you're about to. If you can figure it out right by now, you're about to find out what it is anyway. But so I take the video out. And then I walk up to my mom, and I literally tell her, I watched your sex tape.
Wait, hold on. Is this your confession or your parents' confession?
Spoilers.
Well, they didn't confess to anything, so I guess it's all me. But I have rarely ever told this story. So now this was like some random thing I guess they recorded, and they were not strong in the Lord back then. Yeah, I told them that, and I never actually got in trouble. And
I hope not.
You shouldn't get in trouble.
Yeah. Shame on you for putting our VHS, private VHS in our VCR.
But yeah, needless to say, that video disappeared.
So you got educated pretty early in life then.
Yeah, unfortunately. But it was just funny because like it didn't really occur to me what I was telling my parents. at the time, but I just walked right up. Hey, I did this.
Hey, this is what I did. Surprise!
So yeah, that's the earliest confession I can remember. Lucas, what about you?
Okay, so my very first confession was when I was 4 years old. My family and I were just watching some cartoons or watching some TV. I'm pretty sure we were watching Danger Mouse, if I'm remembering the name of that correctly, a very old Nickelodeon cartoon. But anyways, we were watching cartoons, and I just got bored with what I was watching, and I wanted to do some coloring, and so I went and got a black crayon, and I started to just color the carpet right in front of my parents. And I don't know what they were doing exactly, that they didn't see me doing this, but I just started coloring the carpet, and I got a good foot by foot space of carpet that was just black from crayon.
Nice.
And all of a sudden my dad is like, "Lucas, what are you doing?" And I just looked at him like, what's going on? I'm not doing anything. And he's like, "Why did you do that?" And so I confessed, "Dad, I couldn't find paper, so I just used the carpet." I was 4 years old. And obviously my dad did not buy my confession, so he proceeded to spank me and proceeded to not allow me to use black crayons or any crayons for a good while. And so
nice.
that was my first confession.
Real quick before the next person says, I kind of just want to clarify that the video was not of my parents. Just saying.
Yes, thank you for clarifying. That'd be scarring.
It's good to
Absolutely.
know. We weren't thinking that, Mr. and Mrs. Boucher, if you're listening. All right, how about you, Patrick?
I couldn't think of anything as early as you guys from 4 to 5, but I remember when I was 10 years old, me and my buddy were in good old Kmart, and which is 25 years ago. So I was 10 years old in Kmart, and I was a big baseball card collector when I was young. I had all the cards from Jose Canseco, Don Mattingly, Barry Bonds, all those
Nice.
characters, all those players.
All those characters.
I know. They are characters. So me and my buddy went down the baseball card aisle, and I grabbed a few baseball cards with the 5-finger discount.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm walking out, a man approaches me saying, "Hey,
no.
What do you have there?" They knew I was there. They saw me and took me in the back, called my parents, and I had to confess to them, yes, I stole these cards.
Oh, man.
I even had to get in front of a judge.
At 10 years old?
At
you
10
went in front
years
of a
old.
judge?
Well, I mean, I don't know if when I was 10 years old, it felt like a really big deal, but we were in like one of those community centers, and there was like a board, in front, like,
Okay.
I guess there was like three different people in front, and I had to confess that, yes, I stole those, and I had to publicly apologize to both them, to Kmart, and to my parents. So, yeah, that was the back in, I still remember that time. To this day, I still think about that day. Like, man, I was an idiot. What was I thinking?
I actually did the same thing except with Pokemon cards, and and I got busted.
You got busted. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and my parents took me to the police station, and they
threw you in prison.
Well, they had a police officer basically put the fear of God in me.
Yeah, I mean, there was a police officer there for me as well. I mean, it was a memorable moment, but not for the good kind. But I mean,
no.
I still remember that, like, oh, now I'm never gonna steal again, kind of thing.
So Patrick, you're telling me that before 10 years old, you were just a big liar and you never told the truth.
I got away with it. I didn't have to.
Smooth criminal.
No, I mean, like, the only reason I say that is because that was one of the biggest moments.
Okay, all right.
So yeah, not necessarily my first one. I can't really recall, but because that one pretty much overshadows everything else.
Yeah, that's like the first big one, first confession, like a real confession you can remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Ronnie?
So mine was actually later than 10. I'm sure definitely I got busted and stuff when I was a young kid and confessed, but I don't recall any of those. I think the first thing that I recall was probably like maybe 12, and me and a buddy from down the street, we snuck out into my stepdad's barn, and we got into his refrigerator out there. Well, so this is why I regretted it, the only beer out there were those Little Kings.
Oh,
Anybody ever have those?
yeah.
No,
Man, they are garbage.
They sound terrible. Little Kings.
They're bad.
Bottom shelf.
They are bad.
The Ritsu
And
beer.
like we each drank a couple of them or whatever, and both of us got sick. And I remember talking to my mom, and said, "Yeah, we drank those." And she replied with, "Well, that's punishment enough."
It's what you get.
What a good mom.
That's what you get. As if a trap was set out there for us the whole time.
Yeah, pretty much. That's funny. So along those lines, I'm sure over the years, from your earliest ones, do you guys have any others that maybe are more embarrassing or maybe were some of the more difficult that you care to share?
I have one right now.
Let's hear it.
This is a safe space, right?
Of course.
No.
Oh, jeez. I'm going to do it
Air
anyway.
quotes.
We'll
Safe
mute.
space.
We'll mute Ronnie. It's safe space. Safe space.
Okay.
Until
Until you open your mouth.
Oh, no.
it's not.
Here it comes.
All right, let's hear it.
So, my topic of this most embarrassing confession is about Pop Tarts. I have 3 confessions on
man.
Pop Tarts.
I can't wait.
These are his confessions.
I hope Kaboski is listening right now.
I hope he's not, because he's going to razz me. So, first, we don't buy Pop Tarts. We buy toaster pastries.
No way. Are you serious? Is this
Pop-Tarts.
present time confession?
It is present time.
What do you guys live in a castle or something?
They're like half the price of regular Pop Tarts. The only time we ever
Those
buy
are-
Pop Tarts is when we have coupons.
Those are like Walmart ones, aren't they? The
Dude,
toaster.
I think
That's
they're
a
Kroger.
no-no.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, they're Kroger.
Toilet
Or,
paper.
or Aldi.
Real quick. There's toilet paper. There's cheese. What else? There's a number of things, but those are the ones that pop up. Mayonnaise. And there's Pop-Tarts. You don't do off-brand. Come on. Are you serious? You're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah.
Killing me.
I believe they actually make the off-brand Pop-Tarts with the off-brand toilet paper.
I have to agree 100% with Ronnie's conjecture. That is totally 100% true. I think we're going to have to take the safe space off the table. So
I figured.
you
enough
totally
time.
negated it. It has to be for a good cause, and that's not a good cause. But you may continue. Okay, what's the next one?
The next one is I like strawberry Pop Tarts.
What?
Weren't you just arguing for the brown sugar like 3 weeks ago?
Oh, the brown sugar is phenomenal, but
Patrick, are you joking with me?
I could go either way.
I thought we were brothers. I'm really disappointed right now.
No, now we're cousins.
I feel like
Wait a minute, Lucas. What's your favorite?
I mean, there's no favorite. There's just one. It's brown sugar cinnamon. The only one.
Amen and amen.
I would say yes to most of that, but if my wife buys strawberry Pop Tarts, I'm eating them. I'm not going to tell her to take them back. I'm eating them.
I'm absolutely standing strong on the blueberry Pop-Tart side. Way better than both of those.
Blueberries aren't even in the discussion, Ronnie.
It's all the way to the side underneath everything. You can't even find
I
them.
thought the strawberry ones were only for girls.
If Pop-Tart, that's true. That's why we stand behind brown sugar cinnamon, and that's why I'm very seriously considering, excommunicating our friend Patrick. But I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna have to pray about it. But if Pop-Tarts were a sport, first place, the Boston Red Sox, the Golden State Warriors would be brown sugar cinnamon. And then strawberry would be, the losers. And then blueberry would be the participation award that you get in Little League. That team That would be blueberry, Ronnie. I'm sorry.
Every time I go in there to buy the blueberry Pop-Tarts, they're always like, they need to like stock up the shelves again. So I'm pretty sure everybody probably agrees with me. I mean, just based on my
They
personal
only stock
area
like
grocery
2 of
store.
them.
They're always gone. The strawberry ones are left, but I don't
Well,
want that.
I'm afraid to ask, but Patrick's what's your third confession? You've already broken my heart into thousands of pieces, so you might as well break it into millions of pieces.
He's about to twist the knife.
I know he is.
This last one, oh my gosh. Number 3 of my Pop Tart confession is I prefer Pop Tarts without icing.
Oh my gosh.
It's not even a Pop-Tart.
Is this a
I'm
joke?
about to cry.
You're joking.
I'm about
right
to
now.
cry.
You are joking. This is not
I'm
serious.
seriously
You're just saying
about to
this.
cry.
You're saying this to mess with us, right? Tell me you're not. This is not a real confession.
This
That doesn't even make any sense.
is my confession.
Oh my gosh.
All 3 of these are true.
I can't believe this.
It's like eating a piece of wheat, strawberry.
I mean, it's.
I sat back while we were talking about brown sugar Pop Tarts for this long. I can't do it anymore. I have to live my truth.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Guys, can we make a motion to kick Patrick off the show and invite Kaboski to? I think Kaboski should join the podcast. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm up for that.
I agree, but only if he has tall hair like Patrick.
We can make sure he does. We can make arrangements.
Yeah.
He can wear a wig.
Brad
Then
can grow his hair out.
It's been decided. No, I'm just kidding, Patrick.
It's been a good run, guys. It's been a good run.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You got a good 7 episodes in, but
Man, I can't believe you got kicked off before.
I don't even
did.
know if I can. I don't know if I can even make it through this whole 8th episode with you on here. No, that's
All right, I'm out.
hilarious, man. That's out. I mean, I'd hope so. If you said any more, I don't know if I would even have words.
I have no more confessions.
That
I
is
have to get that
crazy.
off my chest.
Well, I'm going to make sure that not only our listeners know about this, but I'm going to make sure that the MTTG community understands what they're dealing with. You will have no voice, sir, in talking about Pop-Tarts.
No one's gonna believe me.
No
in
one's going
anything
to
I
listen
say
to you. We're
going
gonna
forward.
mute you. And
You
anytime
get nothing, sir.
you utter the word Pop-Tarts, we're just going to be like, fake news, liar. I mean, you don't even eat Pop-Tarts. You eat that other stuff that's like trash. It's like toilet
Your
paper.
profile picture should just be a faceless Pop-Tart.
Wow.
You eat cardboard. That's what you eat.
You've totally blown my mind right now. I did not see that coming. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
My most embarrassing confession. There you go.
For sure. I don't know where to go from here. Ronnie, Mark, you guys have some embarrassing confessions? I don't know if you can top that, but good luck.
I feel like I can pick up the slack here. Probably get this thing back on track after that bomb.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
So my first embarrassing confession, I have 2. And my first one is that I still watch SpongeBob. Kind of a lot.
SpongeBob.
Patrick.
I mean, what a great cartoon, man. It's got everything.
Hey, man, that show's hilarious. Come on.
See? That's what I'm saying.
My wife hates that cartoon,
Oh, I love that one.
so she might
I
not.
have
Totally
not-
watch it every
My confession is I've never seen one full episode of that.
My confession is that I've never not seen a full episode of it.
Still watching that SpongeBob. All right. That's pretty good.
Which is really cutting into my Superman time for sure. That's probably what's going
I'm
on.
sure it is. You've probably watched every season of SpongeBob at least 20 times.
Honestly, I got a good feeling about this week, though. About
Uh-huh.
Superman.
Yeah.
I'm feeling really good about it.
Heard that
So
before.
what? Better than the 4% you said last week?
The punishments are starting to mount up here.
Oh, I'm making a punishment for
People are
you.
getting organized.
There's gonna be no
Yeah.
one left on this podcast.
yeah, that's right.
You and Mark staring at each other.
This is me and Mark hanging out. Well, I will tell you, Ronnie, to mention about watching shows when you're too old to be watching them. When I was in high school, I did actually get addicted to watching Pokemon and Power Rangers by myself when I was in high school. It started out as a joke, like especially Power Rangers. When my friends would come to my house before we would walk to school, there would always be like this 5-10 minute cushion time where either I would be eating breakfast still, or we still had some time to go to before we had to go to school. So we would watch SportsCenter every morning. Well, sometimes, this is back in the day when there's no DVR, you can't record anything. And so we would flip between 2 channels because that's what you did when you didn't want to watch the commercials. And our alternative channel would be, of course, Power Rangers. And so we would flip back and forth between Sports Center and Power Rangers. And this is 3 or 4 high school men watching Sports Center and then watching Power Rangers. It was amazing.
That's a great combo.
It is a great combo. But to top that, I watched enough of Power Rangers that sometimes after school, instead of doing my homework, I would go to my room and watch Power Rangers with the door closed to make sure nobody saw me doing it. And the same with Pokemon. So that's not an embarrassing confession. I have much more embarrassing confessions, but that's my related confession to Ronnie.
2 years ago for me, I watched the first 3 seasons of Power Rangers.
Nice.
In like 2 months.
By yourself or with your kids?
Oh, definitely by myself.
That's nice. Well done. I've considered it a couple times.
I feel like
so
there's no
bad.
shame in that anymore.
It's so bad. I mean, the acting's so bad, but man, when they morph into those Power Rangers, it's fantastic.
It is fantastic. I love the sparks that fly off the bodies of the bad guys and the Power Rangers when they get hit. I mean, it's amazing.
Makes no sense.
If they could make a suit or make a Halloween or a cosplay outfit where if you like punch at someone or hit them or make contact that the sparks would fly off like that, that would be amazing.
Right?
I would wear that everywhere.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out that this Power Rangers conversation came from me confessing to watching SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yeah, man. We gladly, you know what? Your confession, this is a safe place. We do not judge here. And
I'm just a content generator.
your adoration of SpongeBob is accepted here, so we do not judge such things.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
And my last embarrassing confession. This one's going to come as a stunner. I absolutely love to dance. All the time.
Like when?
Like when I'm cleaning my house and I'm just dancing around my house. Sometimes I even dance as I'm going by the mirror, like a music video.
All right.
Just can't get enough of it.
You're a dancer.
So, yeah, normally if I'm out in public, I don't know necessarily, I might bust like 1 or 2 moves, but if I've had like a drink or a couple drinks, different story.
Really? Like, do you have a certain style that you prefer? Or
of music?
No. A style of dance, like merengue. No, I think that's a pie, isn't it?
No. Merengue is different from meringue.
Oh, right.
Two
Thank
different
you.
things.
I almost thought I just
a merengue pie.
Merengue pie, like samba, salsa, the chicken dance. Like, what's your preferred style, or do you just kind of like just flail about like a crazy person?
I would say probably pretty much flailing. I don't know if they've actually named my style of dancing yet, but I believe it's probably something to come.
Fair enough.
It's the drunk Carlton.
But my favorite time is like when I'm home, like if I'm cleaning the house or something, like I have the radio like just blaring like throughout my whole house because like I live here by myself, so there's no rules. So I have the radio blaring.
Well, you're not by yourself now.
Just,
you got the Roomba or your little vacuum robot. So now you
that's right.
You get to dance with your vacuum robot now.
He's in the dock right now, so he's resting.
Oh, fair enough.
But I will say, like my favorite time is when I'm at my house, which I am at. So.
Oh. Ooh, dancing for us. Nice. Yep. Cut that off
everybody,
right at 14 seconds.
And everybody is welcome for singing that for the rest of the day.
No, everybody's like, dang it, I just got rickrolled.
To all of you that did not bust a little bit of a move, I don't believe you.
I tell you what, I wanted to sing the lyrics, but I can never get past. Never gonna blood your blood, that's all I can do. I can just never gonna, and then that's all I can do.
Yeah, that's still good.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Nice.
But that pretty much wraps up my confessions. Who is up next?
Marky, wow us with your embarrassing or difficult confession.
Here's a difficult confession for you. I forged my mother's signature on my report card when I was in 5th grade.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
What?
Oh, dropping the bomb.
Forgery, that's a felony.
Yep.
I'm writing a letter to the school.
Yeah, no doubt. You're about to lose your diploma, sir. Good sir.
In your face, I didn't get one.
You're going to be Billy Madison. You got to go back to 5th grade and finish it.
That would be perfect.
No, the sad part is like the teacher actually caught me the first time around, and then I lied about it, saying my mom was like half asleep and she tried to sign the report card, and they believed me.
No.
Oh my gosh.
It's a whole web of lies you told on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. It was very bad.
Where you're like, well, it didn't work the first time, but it should work the second time. We'll be good.
Well, it's basically one of those things where we're going to cover a lie with another lie. And
Yeah,
so, yeah, it was bad.
it's true.
Very bad. Kids,
Alright.
don't do that.
No forging signatures. All right.
And then lying about it. Don't do
Yeah,
it.
for sure. Did you have any other embarrassing or difficult ones, or was that your
I
prison
think that's the
inducing
difficult one.
Okay.
I can't really think of any other embarrassing ones because, like, I'm not ashamed to admit I watch Power Rangers. That show's cool. I don't care what you say.
one? Fair enough. Well, when I was probably about, I want to say 13 years old, I remember that my parents called a family meeting. Now, when my dad or my mom said we were about to have a family meeting, we knew it was never for anything good. And so my parents sat my sister and I down. I have a sister that's 3 years younger. She's actually my stepsister, but we're not, splitting hairs here. So my sister and I were sitting with my parents, and my parents were like, so we have in our hands an email that was written by one of the two of you, and we want to know who wrote it. And immediately I thought, oh, what did my sister do? She is so busted. She is going to get, I don't know what she did, but she is in big trouble for whatever she did, because my parents, it was clear that they were mad. They were super angry. And so they had a piece of paper, and they said, on this piece of paper is an email that one of you sent, and we want you to know that you sent this email to your mom's boss. Like, someone had sent an email to my mom's boss, and I was like, man, why would my sister send an email to my mom's, my stepmom's boss, her mom's boss? And so they turned the paper around, and it said, leave me the F alone. And now I will say the F was not an F. It was a F with a little asterisk. And I realized in that moment that my sister had not written that email. I had written that email. So to give you a little backstory of where this email came from, back in the day, spam was not like a really common thing. But it had happened. It had been long enough with the internet and emails at the time. This was probably 95, 96. Emails and spam had been around long enough to where I interpreted an email that had come into my mom's inbox, but I used it sometimes because I didn't have an email at that time. And I had interpreted an email as spam. So I replied to what I thought was spam, and I said, leave us the F alone. And I sent it. And then I thought nothing about it. I thought it was just a spam, some dude sending us random newsletters or random information. And so when my parents turned that email around, I realized what I had done. And I had pretty much, in a nicer way, cussed out my mom's boss. So I had to confess in that moment and be like, it was me. And not only did I have to confess to what I did, I had to go and apologize to her boss. And, they at least gave me a little bit of slack because I didn't spell out the inappropriate word. But I still, I put it in all caps letters and lots of exclamation points and all that stuff. But it was more just having to face this guy and just being busted. Because, at that time I was a Christian, and, I was trying to find my way in my faith with Christ. And I just had a moment where it made me angry for some reason. And I just sent the email. And I totally got busted. So that was a pretty tough confession. Yeah. So I actually, outside of our confessions, some members of our community on the Discord, they wanted to share their own confessions. Q4P MikeBC at Quest for Pixels, he wanted to share this with us. He said, this one time in band camp, laugh out loud, like I was ever in band camp. But seriously,
Okay.
seriously, moving on. Before I knew Jesus, make sure you know it was before I knew Jesus, and it wasn't while my wife and I were dating at the time. But before I knew Jesus, I cheated with someone twice my age in a random hookup. And my wife to this day doesn't know about this story. So that was Mike's confession.
Hopefully she doesn't listen to this.
Yeah, if she does listen, now she knows, and you have a nice little conversation starter.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Another confession comes from our buddy Tim Paullin on the Discord. He said, in high school, I ramped my car off a T intersection. I got stuck in a field and had to call the only tow truck service in the area, which of course was my dad. Hashtag lecture time. Hashtag they dared me to do it. So thanks Mike and
the Dukes
and
of
Tim.
Hazzard, that too.
Yeah, he lives in Hazard. Thanks guys for sharing your confessions with us. As we get older, confession can be somewhat of a difficult task to do. It can be difficult. Sometimes it can appear to be a little unnecessary, especially as adults, because we can do whatever we want at this point, right? We're our own boss most of the time. We don't have a parrot breathing down our neck. We don't have a pastor or boss looking over our shoulder all the time. Maybe some of us still do. For me as a Christian, it actually is a part of my spiritual responsibility to at least confess my sins and my mistakes to God and to others as well. In James 5:16 in the Bible, it says, therefore confess your sins to each other and pray to each other so that you may be healed. The prayer of a righteous man or a righteous person is powerful and effective. Even if you're not a Christian or you think the Bible is baloney, we have various authorities and great personal and public expectations in our lives, in our work, and our family. But in my opinion, partly why we're talking about this topic today, the best type of confession, and confession as general, is something that can really help us. And it's really good sometimes to get stuff off your chest, so you're not living a lie, so you can have a closer relationship with someone. Unless it's about Pop Tarts, then I'm not sure that the relationship can continue. But the best type of confession, I think, is one that's shared with our peers, with those that we love and those that care for us, that want us to be the best that we can be. And it's safer and it's freeing to not have that weight. So, even though Patrick's already done this, do you guys have any current things that you want to get off your chest? Any confessions that you want to share right now? Because this is the best time and the best place to do it.
I guess I kind of already did that because nobody knew the story about the report card till now.
Fair enough.
So is your mom going to listen to this and be like, I knew it?
I knew he was a liar.
My mom doesn't even know what a podcast is, so probably not.
Fair enough. I don't have any serious confessions. I think it's generally due to my lifestyle now. So, when I was married, my confession would have been that I was unhappy. But obviously since then, I'm split up out of that marriage, and I live a lot different life. I'm able to do the things that I want to do, and it just generally makes me very happy. So I think at this point in my life, I don't have confessions to make.
All right. Well, I had one personal confession, and then I had another confession that I think is a matter of saving the best confession for last. So my personal confession is that during college, I almost ruined my life, my academic life, and that of another person who I was responsible for at the time. So during my junior year, I was a freshman dorm RA. I was in charge of I think it was 30 freshmen. And during the school year, we started playing the game, a game called Diablo 2, which is it's just kind of a top-down game where you just kind of run around and, defeat bad guys, and it's an RPG, so you get armor and do all these nerdy things. But anyways, a lot of us on the floor, we started getting a little addicted to it, and we started playing all together because you could, play online together and all that stuff. And during that time, a couple of us got so addicted that we all went in together and bought over $100 worth of digital armor and weapons off of eBay for this game. That's one confession. The second one is that I almost failed one of my elective classes because I stayed up so late playing Diablo 2. And then the third aspect of this confession is that actually one of my freshmen, he played so much and skipped so many classes that he did actually drop out of college.
Whoa.
He wouldn't say because of Diablo 2, but it really was because of Diablo 2. He just got to the point where he just didn't feel like leaving his room, and he literally just stayed in his room and played Diablo 2. And I confess this because I was his leader at the time, and I did not do very much to stop it. I was part of the problem, unfortunately.
Wow.
And so it was actually from that point that I took a long break from video games for a good 3 or 4 years before I started playing video games again. But that's I guess is a confession that I really haven't kind of thrown out there. That's a real genuine confession. But it's something that I wanted to share with you guys. So that was my personal confession.
I feel like there's one more confession.
Yeah.
That I think a few of us need to get off our chest.
Yeah, I think you're right, Mark. And this confession is one that is a long time in the making, and I'm finally glad that not only I can get this off my chest, but Mark can get this off his chest, and Patrick can get this off his chest. And it's the fact that in June of this year, when we were all three banned on episode 299 of Married to the Games, we planned it and pulled it off with perfection. Yeah, baby. We coordinated the greatest banning in MTTG history. And as someone who's been banned multiple times, I can say it was the sweetest, most wonderful ban that has ever been done. I could not believe at the time that we were able to pull that off. So we want to really quickly give people a backstory. I'm going to start it off and then hand it off to the guys from there. It all started in, I think, episode 297.
Oh, 297?
297, when I originally got banned. And I got banned in episode 297, during episode 297, because I asked a question by calling in, and I wrote in a question to MTTG. And when I did that, when I doubled up, they banned me on episode 297. Right. So after I got banned for episode 298, I was like, well, I'm not going to let a little banning stop me from asking a question. So I wrote my best pal, who was my best pal at the time. It's still to be determined now, but I wrote my then best pal, my best MTTG pal, Patrick, and I said, hey, Patrick, you need to hook a brother up. Can I write a question, and can you post it under your name so that they still read it? And he was like, yeah, man, I can do that. And so I'll let Pat take it from there. But this is where things began.
Well, yeah, you had asked me to do so, and I was like, well, make sure it is a question that you would ask, because you could have a lot of context and a lot of backstory. And, this day in history is the first day or whatever. You always go with a backstory. So I was like, make sure it's something like that, because if they think it, then they're gonna think it's gonna be you. And I was like, we got to make sure that it sounds like it's coming from you, but it's actually under my name. So I posted that, and then
so that was episode 298. You posted it, and we were like, yeah, we got away with it. And then we started talking. We were like, wouldn't it be funny if we got ourselves banned for it? And that's when you started talking to Mark.
And I told Mark, I was like, what you have to do is you're gonna know this, but you're gonna have to narc on me, and then I'm gonna come after you for narking and say that you should be banned, and then Lucas will be banned for asking a question under my name, and then I would get banned for asking a question coming from Lucas, who was already banned. So this is going to be perfect storm. So we had planned this out saying, all right, I'm going to say this, and then you say this, and then you say this. And we're going to get a thread going. And boy, did we ever.
Yeah, I was like getting all accusatory. Like, I don't even remember exactly what I said in the text message. But like, it was like, that looks like a Lucas Ham question, and blah 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 blah. And so yeah, I posted it. I think it was in one of the questions, like with the Ask MTTG thing or whatever. And then that's when we effectively achieved the very first triple ban.
Yep. Yeah.
In MTTG history.
Leading up to episode 299, because it was episode 299 where we got triple banned, right? Right before 300.
It was 299.
When I saw you guys post when I saw Marc posting the text conversation that you guys had, I totally bought it. Like, I knew it was happening, but I was like, nice. I saw your guys' texting conversation was spot on, and then your guys' banter back and forth in the Ask MTTG channel and everything. I was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna pull this off. And of course I had to write in and be like, my question of the week is, have you ever been falsely accused for doing something that you didn't? Like, I tried to of course be faking like I was playing it cool, and I wasn't sure they were gonna ban all three of us, but man, they laid
the ban hammer down.
Yeah, they played right into our hands. They were just like, you're banned, and you're banned, and you're banned. I was so convinced that the episode was going to get named something like Triple Ban Hammer or Triple Ban or
Daddy's
like
home.
That. Yeah, Daddy's home. But yeah, in episode 299, when we all three got banned, I was like, yes, I can't
Which
wait.
was the most inopportune time to get banned, because the
really
next episode was episode 300, where everyone was going to be in Nashville and Franklin.
We really didn't think that through, but it was so worth it.
But they lifted the ban just for that episode. Then the next episode, we're all banned again.
That is correct.
So, we still were banned, but not for episode 300.
Yeah. But the fact that we orchestrated our ban, we finally get to confess and get it off of our chest and let the MTTG community know that we fell on the hammer just for fun. Kicks and
giggles.
It was
all orchestrated. It was like an Ocean's 11 kind of thing.
It was.
We're schemers.
But we didn't get away with anything. We're not millionaires now.
We really didn't. It's like we tricked everyone to put us in prison.
Yeah, right.
It's like, we're going to trick you into thinking we deserve prison, even though we don't. We planned it the whole time. Oh, man. Yeah. Good stuff. Well, that wraps up our confession time. If you in the community, you listeners, if you want to share your own confessions, find us on Discord, find us on Twitter, and you can share your confessions as well. So we're reaching our end, our wrap-up time. Guys, you got any good inspiration, some good music, dad jokes, anything to share with us?
I got some good tunes for you. And as always, you can check out the Good Morning Guys Good Morning playlist on Spotify. I'll just type that in the search bar and you can find it there. And I add 3 songs to it every week, and this week is no exception. So the songs I'm going to add this week are ELO's Mr. Blue Sky, which you might know from the intro credits to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, when Groot's little baby Groot's kind of walking. That's Mr. Blue Sky. And then the band Colony House, which you might know Stephen Curtis Chapman. It's 2 of his kids are in that band. They have a song called Silhouettes, so I'll be adding that. And then there's this new band. I'm pretty sure they're like a Christian band, but it's a band called Land of Color, and the name of the song is aptly titled Morning Song. So I'd encourage you guys to check those songs out, and everything else on the playlist.
Cool.
Here's a couple dad jokes from our Discord channel.
Do it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So this one comes from MikeBC. What's the difference between Jesus and a pizza? Jesus can't be topped.
I love that one. I actually told that one today. No, I told that one yesterday to all my students when I was substitute teaching. It was a big hit. That was one of my personal favorites.
Yeah, that was a good one. And then here's another one that I had posted, but I think it's good. Why didn't the toilet paper make it across the road? Because he met too many cracks along the way.
Oh man, I hope Chris McCracken's listening right now. I can hear his little laugh, his little ginger laugh in Texas. I love dad jokes. They're the best.
So I wanna finish this off with a question, and it kind of hit me when we were talking about all these confessions earlier. Does anybody eat SpaghettiOs right out of the can and not cook them at all, like the SpaghettiOs and meatballs, just straight out of the can?
I totally
That's
used
a negative.
to. I definitely used to.
Nah, so much better that way.
It's really good. Like the cold.
You get them like
meatballs,
4 minutes faster.
Yeah, I really like the meatballs when they're not, cooked. I like them just a little room temperature, a little colder. They're tasty.
You need to try it. You need to try it out, Patrick. It's delicious.
Faux show.
I'll have raw spaghetti when you watch Superman.
All right, so
Ooh.
this week then. You better have it ready by the podcast.
You need to tweet out when you're watching it, full review. After you have the full review, I'll eat spaghetti on the podcast.
SpaghettiOs with meatballs.
SpaghettiOs with meatballs?
Yeah,
Straight out of the can.
right out of the can.
I say both. He should do crunchy, like uncooked spaghetti noodles and SpaghettiOs.
Yeah.
You got to grind them up and mix them in your water.
Yeah, totally. But
All right.
no, seriously, Ronnie, you need
Challenge.
to. I'm not going to believe you at this point. I'm not going to believe you watched the movie until you post some kind of credits or something on Twitter, or I guess you can do it on our Hangout chat. But you on the Discord maybe that you just joined.
That's exactly
Congratulations
right.
again. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see your name on the list because I haven't seen it yet.
And no cheating and chapter skipping to the end credits.
Yeah, you tell your little robot Roomba vacuum cleaner it can wait. That you don't need to watch it for a good 2 hours. You have a movie to watch.
I'm pretty sure I can program it to just clean at a certain time, so I won't even have to wait.
There you go.
That's
I just realized I backed myself into a corner.
yeah, you did. That's right. All right.
Oh, I'm sure nothing at all will come up this week then.
Nothing at all.
It'll be clear and free.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll have no.
I'll probably watch it
excuses for
twice.
this week. Don't even just stop.
No, come on.
Don't mess with our emotions. You won't do it. Liar. That's like, I'm going to predict fake news for that. All right. Well, that's all for this good morning. Remember, there are a number of ways to go beyond listening. Connect with us as a podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, The Good Morning Guys, or at the GMG Podcast. And also personally at
Nova Beyond on Twitter.
At Ronnie Johannes on Twitter.
At Musique829 on Twitter.
And I am at MTTG Brazil Team on Twitter, Lucas Ham Swisher on Facebook, and Pastor Ham on Twitch. Beyond that, we look forward to seeing you again next Thursday morning or afternoon on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you get a little moment to show some love, please rate us on iTunes and maybe even write a little review. For some technological reason, it helps us connect with strangers and others seeking to be inspired or just make good use of their time while they wash dishes or commute to work. Alrighty, my podcasting brothers, listeners, friends, and family, go get your good morning this week. May God bless and guide your lives as you live, work, and game. Ne vedem data vitorare. And until next time, because we are out.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Like a light. Like a fat kid in dodgeball. Like a bread truck, because we are hauling buns. Like a deaf kid in musical chairs.
Gonna make like horse poop and hit the trail.
Like that's all I got. I'm gonna stop there.
Jeez.
I just picture that as like, outtakes where it's like a da 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 boop, like a da 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 boop.
Pay the piper. Cough it up.
We don't pay people that buy off-brand Pop-Tarts, buddy.
I'm not actually sure if we've ended
Shut
this
your mouth.
podcast or not. Are we in the after cut scene here?
We got to
Or
be.
are
in the
we
after.
still in?
Yeah.
I don't know.
This
I'm
is
leaving
good.
that
We've
up-
really
I'm
never
leaving
said
that up
bye.
to Patrick. I'm leaving that up to Patrick.
We are officially.
All right, at the count of
post-podcast
3,
now.
everybody say bye. 1, 2, 3.
Aloha.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Arrivederci.
Ni hao. Wait, is that hi?
Yeah, you got that way wrong.
I said buenos dias last week instead of gracias.
You're the worst. Fake Pop-Tart eater.